night on the prairies. The supper is over, the fire on the ground burns low. The wearied immigrants sleep, wrapped in their blankets. I walk by myself, I stand and look at the stars, which I think now I never realized before. Now I absorb immortality and peace. I admire death and test propositions. How plenteous, how spiritual, how resume. The same old man and soul, the same old aspirations, and the same content. I was thinking the day most splendid till I saw what the knot they exhibited. I was thinking this globe enough till there sprang out so noiseless around me myriads of other globes. Now while the great thoughts of space and eternity fill me, I will measure myself by them, and now touched with the lives of other globes, arrived as far along as those of the earth, or waiting to arrive or passed on further than those of the earth. I henceforth no more ignore them than I ignore my own life, or the lives of the earth arrived as far as mine are waiting to arrive. Oh, I see now that life cannot exhibit all to me as the day cannot. I see that I am to wait for what will be exhibited by death. I would have added, is all here amiss? But a voice answered life, and I turned anew. O heaven, have such mercy on such wretchedness, that what I thought was an old root which grew through strange distortion out of the hillside was indeed one of that deluded crew, and that the grass which methought hung so wide and white was but his thin discolored hair, and that the holes it vainly sought to hide were or had been eyes. If thou canst forbear to join the dance which I had well forborne, said the grim feature of my thought aware, I will now tell that which to this deep scorn led me and my companions, and relate the progress of the pageant since the morn. If thirst of knowledge does not thus abate, follow it even to the night, but I am weary. Then like one who with the weight of his own words is staggered wearily, he paused and ere could resume, I cried, first, who art thou? Before thy memory I feared, loved, hated, suffered, did, and died. And if the spark with which heaven lit my spirit, earth had with purer nutriment supplied, corruption would not now thus much inherit of what was once Rousseau, nor this disguise stained that within which still disdains to wear it. If I have been extinguished, yet there rise 1,000 beacons from the spark I bore. And who are those changed to the car? The wise, the great, the unforgotten, they who wore mitres and helms and crowns or wreaths of light, signs of thought's empire over thought, their lore taught them not this to know themselves, their might could not repress the mutiny within. And for the morn of truth they feigned deep night, caught them ere evening. Who is he with chin upon his breast and hands crossed on his chain? The child of a fierce hour, he sought to win the world and lost all it did contain of greatness in its hope destroyed, and more of fame and peace than virtue's self can gain. without the opportunity which bore him on its eagle's pinion to the peak, from which 1,000 climbers have before fallen as Napoleon fell. I felt my cheek alter to see the great form pass away, whose grasp had left the giant world so weak that every pygmy kicked it as it lay. And much I grieve to think how power and will in opposition rule our mortal day, and why God made irreconcilable good and the means of good, and for despair I have disdained mine eyes' desire to fill with the spent vision of the times that were, and scarce have ceased to be. Dost thou behold? Said then my guide, the spoiler spoiled Voltaire, Frederick and Kant and Catherine and Leopold, chained hoary monarchs, demagogue and sage, whose name the fresh world thinks already old. For in the battle life and they did wage, she remained conqueror, I was overcome by mine own heart alone, which neither age, nor tears, nor infamy, nor now the tomb could temper to its object. Let them pass, I cried, the world and its mysterious doom is not so much more glorious than it was. Then I desire to worship those who drew new figures on its false and fragile glass.